Ad Astra is the latest film from director James Gray, who's directed films like The Immigrant and Lost City of Z. The film is essentially a sci-fi reimagining of Joseph Conrad's novel Heart of Darkness, which is what Apocalypse Now is based on. And while this film isn't necessarily supplementing a particular war to inform its story, there are other themes that inspire a metaphorical struggle between fathers and sons, as certain behaviours and values that are echoed through family, where sons in particular often come into conflict of walking from their father's shadows. Ad Astra follows Brad Pitt's character, Major Roy McBride, travelling through the solar system to reach his long thought to be dead father, played by Tommy Lee Jones, whose actions may or may not affect the future of humanity. This is a deeply moving film that I found mesmerising from the opening frame. Ad Astra uses the structure of Heart of Darkness to explore the fractured bond between a father and son, as throughout the film we see Brad Pitt's character struggling with repeating the mistakes made by his father, all the while living with expectations of being the son to a very famous father, while attempting to keep the calm composure and low beats per minute reading that allows him to excel and work out in the stars as a major. In order to excel at his work and live for his perceived purpose in space, to find meaning in life, Roy has been forced to push aside many meaningful bonds with other people, making him very cold and distant by way of expectations that come with the job. He finds himself at odds with establishing connections with other people, as it may jeopardize his goals. That is a very relatable conflict that I'm sure many viewers will connect with. But depending on the person, I can see this not working for everyone. Ad Astra relies pretty heavily on narration from Brad Pitt to relay the internal thoughts of Roy. While this would usually be a detriment as a case of telling rather than showing, the choice of valuing narration here works a great deal for the character and film, as a representation of men in particular being expected to control their emotions and thoughts, rather than opening up to others. The film would also likely fall apart if it wasn't for that narration. Over the course of the movie, we gradually see Roy unravel, with the first major emotion that he experiences in the film being guilt, that is then followed by anger. This all happens as he comes to the realization that the only meaningful human connection that he possibly still has might still be alive out there in the cosmos. Roy's journey throughout the film is guided by a 2001 A Space Odyssey-esque dreamlike sense of progression from James Gray. Ad Astra is a somber 2-hour film that moves pretty slowly. It's a slow burn thriller. Gray enables plenty of time for introspection with Roy's journey and mental state, which at times made me question where Roy was as a reliable narrator, as there are a number of scenes, particularly in the film's third act, that never feel as obvious as the way that they're being portrayed on screen. All of this is amplified by the technical mastery of the film. Ad Astra has been in post-production for 2 years, and you can tell. The visuals are absolutely awe-inspiring. If you have the opportunity to see the film in IMAX, I'd recommend doing so, as scenes with Brad Pitt driving on the moon, through craters with the earth illuminated in the background, absolutely sell this cerebral cinematic experience. Christopher Nolan's cinematographer, Hoyt van Hoytema, shot Ad Astra, so there will be visual comparisons made to Interstellar, but many of the film's big space sequences are just as jaw-dropping as many of the big moments are in Interstellar. Max Richter's rich and moody score draws you into Ad Astra's visuals for an experience that I just found enchanting. James Gray portrays an incredibly realistic interpretation of space, despite the film taking place in the near future, with some creative liberties used to portray different colonies. Given the mythology that's developed in the film, this all feels somewhat plausible, as James Gray focuses on maintaining the film's realism. There's no major leaps in logic or interpretation like we saw at the end of Interstellar. James Gray aims to portray the danger of space travel and how that extreme hostile environment treats unfamiliar outsiders. This leads to a few rather violent encounters in the film that do stand out, as the rest of the film is fairly methodical. These scenes offer a shock that could dismantle the pace of the film, pulling viewers out of this dreamlike experience. Instead, these encounters are used to further impact Roy's state of mind and challenge his emotional responses. As character building encounters, they add more than they detract. Ad Astra is a film that will speak to certain people, but could potentially alienate others. This is a slow, serious film that takes its time to unravel its characters. Moments of action certainly help keep the film lively, but don't go in expecting a roller coaster ride like The Martian or Gravity. I imagine if you appreciated the somber approach that Damien Chazelle took with First Man last year, then Ad Astra will probably speak to you. Although personally, I think Ad Astra is a much better film than First Man. This is a lofty film with big, ambitious ideas and hopes for humanity. It offers a sense of optimism that may or may not fall on deaf ears. I'm quite curious to see how people respond to and interpret Ad Astra, as I can imagine there being many different readings of the film here. The visuals are incredible. The performances, especially Brad Pitt's, are pretty phenomenal, and there are father-son themes that will likely resonate deeply with some people. Not everyone is going to respond in the same way, and that's completely fine. This is a film that invites discourse, and I look forward to those conversations. Ad Astra is a film that deeply moved me and connected with me, and I cannot wait to revisit it soon. Ad Astra gets a 9.5 out of 10 from me and a mono Critics' Choice Award. Guys, I hope you liked this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your Mono Fix. Bye guys.